Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Easy Build Dog. I want to start off with a quick apology. Sorry I haven't posted any videos recently. I've been going through a weird, strange issues with the PC setup that I have at the moment. This video is actually going to get into a bit of that. I've changed graphics cards, and though I don't have any regret for it, I do, however, feel that it's an oddball, this one. You know what? I'll tell you what. Have a look at the video, hopefully it helps. I've also got a decent amount of settings in here that would hopefully help some other people with the same graphics card as what I have currently got now. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing some updates in the sense of better settings for the graphics card system, Warzone, other games, etc. as soon as I start learning a little bit more. But as it goes from now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this video up and give you a bit of a hit of what this is all about. So like I said, as I said in the beginning, this is a bit of a strange one. So I recently decided to invest a little bit more into the current system I got with the streaming, what it is, and the response I've got from a lot of the videos and the viewers. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching some of this. Really grateful to have some subscribers. You guys are absolutely awesome. I'm truly grateful that you guys are supporting the channel like this. So I decided I was going to buy a new graphics card, because the graphics card I got in here was sort of, it wasn't a mediocre card. It was a GTX 1660 OC edition, so it's an overclocked 1660 Super basically. It was a 6 gig card, PCI Express 3. It wasn't a bad card. I mean, I still got it on a Black Friday, I think in 2021 if I'm not mistaken, for about $5,500. I do think the 1660 is always an underrated card, so I decided, well, let's give it a shot, you know. Got the card, installed it, happy days, all's good. I now recently decided, well, because the channel's going up, let me invest a bit and buy a new graphics card. And a lot of the videos I've been watching and a lot of the recommendations I've been getting is I should have a look at getting a AMD Radeon RX 7700 XT 12 gig. Obviously, like the name it says itself already, it's a 12 gig card. Number one, it's an AMD, so it's different to Nvidia. Not just the fact that it's indifferent to Nvidia, but it's also price difference is astonishingly different. It's almost double the price to a GTX 1660. I mean, this Radeon RX 7700 XT 12 gig is what, probably a 10 grand card, 10,000 rand. South African rand, USD $300-400 I think it might be, depending on exchange rate. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, that aside, if you look at the screen, you'll see on the left hand side I'm running the FPS counter that is available in Warzone already. On the left hand side is the 1660, set to minimum settings with Nvidia's occasional settings in Windows to change this, to change that, to ensure that you've got as little lag as possible and as max frames that you can get out of the card. As you can see in the top left, it's 95, 100, 80 odd FPS. Latency is 21 milliseconds. Packet loss was 0 on a card from 2021 that's already, what, 2-3 years old before that in any event as well. And it's an overclock and it's a 6 gig card. On the right hand side, you got a 12 gig, maybe a year old card, maybe less, RX 7700 XT. Far more superior than the 1660. Every single video I went out there and had a look and did a lot of research, and value for money, the RX 7700 XT is probably a very good card to buy for value for money, because the comparison is an Nvidia 1470 I think it was, or 4070, which is slightly unperformance wise under this card that I've currently got now. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going on. The very first time I plugged in this card, I had 145, 160 FPS playing Warzone with my mates. It was working perfectly fine. There was an update for the software for the card, which again, the software and the downloads for that. Well, not the download, sorry, the software that AMD run is called Adrenaline AMD, which I'll show you now as well. I've got a video of that and how it works, and as well as some basic settings. On the screen you'll see now there is a comparison, my old system to my new system. Nothing has changed besides the graphics card. Although I do have an older system, as you can see it's only a 10 series i7. It's got 40 gigs of RAM at 2933s. You know, it's not a slow system by any standard. The motherboard is unfortunately a little older, but the BIOS version is, as you can see, not even 2 months old. The software update on that. The screen, Windows 11. I mean, the only difference there is with this system, with the graphics cards that I can see being the slight issue, is that my motherboard takes a PCI Express Gen 3 and this card is an Express Gen 4. But after doing a lot of research, it shouldn't have that much effect. The only thing is the card won't run 125,000% better because of the generations of things. So it will run at a PCI Express 3 versus a PCI Express 4. So that is literally the only difference that you would find. Whether it will be so much of a difference that it's giving me these problems that I'm currently having, I don't know. There's no information out there. No one's got these cards. No one cares about AMD. No one is bothered to even try and help this issue. Everywhere you phone, it's always NVIDIA this, NVIDIA that, NVIDIA this. It's I don't know. People need to stop sucking NVIDIA's boxes. So sorry, I just get it. Everyone's so brain conscious, it's crazy. But anyway, this is the card I got. So let's get on to the Adrenaline software that you need to run it on your system. So on the screen now you'll see the Adrenaline software. I did have a lot of issues downloading the software. A friend of mine who I play with Warzone has also got a Radeon, but he's got a much bigger version than mine. He's also got a 12 gig card, but I think he's got the 7800 or the 7900 XT. I'll have to double check on that one. But regardless, you got to download the software called Adrenaline AMD or AMD Adrenaline. To download the software, for him it was easy. There was no issues. For me, I couldn't get this thing to download. I had to download it on a separate system, bring it over across, install it, and then sort of go from there. Because for some reason I wasn't able to download it. It could be my ISP, because eventually what I had to do was actually get a VPN, log on with the VPN, download the software, install it, and it worked like an absolute dream. Updates, you name it, it all works. So that was the first real issue I can say that I've had with this card. I mean, it's not a major issue. I mean, there's a workaround obviously, but it shouldn't happen clearly. In front of you, you'll see the games page. Now this is where a lot of the games are. Now this is where it gets super confusing. So the video I showed you before, I was getting maybe 90 FPS. Yeah, in the AMD software it says I'm averaging 191 FPS. Performance rate is excellent. The milliseconds, 11 milliseconds. But I like, how is there such a variant between Call of Duty software and AMD and Adrenaline? But that aside, I don't know, suck thumbs. I don't know, I'll go outside and, I don't know, take a big gulp of fresh air and try and understand what the hell the issue is. But regardless, in here you'll see this is the current settings I'm currently running, which is giving me the better performance for Warzone. If you've got an AMD card, I'd recommend try some of this. If it doesn't work for you, you can always default back. You will see there is game experience, which is set on custom, because I run a certain set of settings for this. So all you've got to do is set it on custom, go to Radeon Super Resolution, say that's enabled, sharpness effect, it's 75. The fluid motion frames I've got enabled, as well as the Radeon anti-lag, which is there as well. Everything else I've kept default. So you'll see the chill is off. This is if you want to save power and run it at a certain frame rate and do not go over it, and vice versa, in the sense of you don't want it to go under 50 frames, you don't want it to go over 60 frames, that kind of thing. You also get the enhanced sync, which I've got disabled. The wait for the vertical refresh off unless the application specifies for it. Right inside you'll see I've got the AMD FreeSync. Now my AMD FreeSync, which is the screen I run as well, has got an AMD FreeSync, yet I lose FPS when I turn it on my screen. Yeah, figure that out, IT people. I put the anti-FreeSync on, the AMD FreeSync on my screen, built into the screen, and I lose FPS. That aside, I've got that on AMD Optimizer, global settings and default settings on everything else below, on the scaling mode, below the colors, the display enhancement, all of that. Leave it as simplest thing is untouched. I have played around a lot of those settings and they've made no real difference for me whatsoever. That's my personal thing. Everything else here is also stock standard under advanced. You'll see everything is default set. There's not a single thing there that I can say I haven't played with that has done worse or done any better. Now on the top, if you click tuning performance, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to this page where it's a lot more detailed in the sense of if you want to overclock your card, if you want to overclock the VRAM, if you want to overclock it or undervolted, overvolted, whatever. I never played with any of these settings. It is set to custom because I'm just curious about the settings. Don't touch it. I wouldn't. I'm too scared to. You'll see the other settings for the metrics is all left default. No reason to change it. On this home page, this is your basic home page. So everything revolves around here. You'll see on the top right hand corner, software is up to date, top of the range thing. You'll see now I click on Hogwarts, for instance. I run basically the same sort of settings, yet here it tells me 506 FPS, and I'm thinking to myself, damn it, that's incredible. Then I go into the game and I'm using Steam's FPS count, and I'm doing 80, maybe 110 if I'm lucky. Yeah, I don't know. I am an absolute loss for words, but you can see all these settings are default. The only thing I've changed is these couple of few things here, and yet I'm still getting 506 FPS. I don't know any other FPS counter software out there that I can trust, that I can install on my system, because every time I go to one of these websites, they've got all these weird ads and crap, and it looks so dodgy. Then my antivirus software pops up and tells me that this is going to damage because there's a pop-up in the background that's trying to read your system. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's an absolute shit show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up Call of Duty right now while I've got the thing going here. So you'll see top left hand corner is the current FPS that is reading from the game. So this is the FPS that the game's telling me that it's running at, available in the game itself, the setting. All right. It is set to 45. You'll see now in my settings I set the menus as well as the intros to a very low FPS, because there's no point in running the graphics card full tilt when all you're doing is having a look in the menu. It's absolutely stupid and pointless, right? So it's frustrating me, as you can hear in my voice, slightly emotional with it, because it's a big investment, and yet one of the biggest games and one of the biggest draws that I have on my channel is this. So right. And before we get any further into this, I know a lot of people are going to say, have you tried disabling your antivirus? Yes, I have. Have I deleted it? Yes, I have. Have I stopped running the firewall? Yes, I have. Have I stopped doing active updates? Yes. Have I done everything possible to make my system so vulnerable to attack on hacking that the game wouldn't allow the problems? Yes, I've done everything, including restarting this game multiple times, installing it on 3 separate hard drives, from an SSD to an NVMe to an M.2 drives. I've done everything I could possibly think of to get this game to work correctly with this graphics card in my current system, that I have no other things to say but besides replacing the CPU, motherboard and memory, because that's pretty much it. And I'm too scared to do that because, as you'll see, the frames still don't make sense. So if I do in other investment and start buying CPUs, motherboards, and spending shit tons of money, is it really going to make a difference? Is there anyone out there that can tell me? Please hit me up with a comment. Let me know, because frankly, I am at wit's end. With that said, let's get down into the current settings that I run in Warzone itself. Sorry for the vent. I do apologize. So here it's set to full screen borderless, as I was testing a few settings before the video, but it made no difference to FPS no matter what I did. You'll see there's the screen, there's the card. It's running at refresh rate of 165 Hertz. Display resolution is 1920 by 1080. Aspect ratio I've got set on automatic. Restart shader preload, you know what that is. That's annoying as hell. All of these are pretty much default settings. The V-syncing gameplay I have turned off completely. The custom frame rate is pretty much one of those things that I have done a few times. So you'll see the settings for in-play should be at 170, 150. The menu, which is currently set at 40, I'll set it to 165. You see the top left hand corner. Look at that, I am topping that at a whole 135 FPS on the menu, and the game's not doing anything but idling. Bring it back down, smack it at 55, bang, 55, 56, and it is stable. Yeah, scratch your head. Render resolution, maximum difference, quality. Made a few adjustments here. Run this at about 100%. I have tried to run it at 200% and it's sharp as anything. It's beautiful to play. Upscaling, I'm using this setting for now, as for some reason it seems to be the most stable for me. But you can run it off, you can run it on AMD, you can run it Intel. It makes zero difference. So what I'll do is I'll just go quickly into the weapons firing range. It's a quick way to test this FPS, and you'll see the top left hand counter, the top left hand corner, apologies, top left hand corner FPS. And right now you'll see it is currently 109, then it freezes and glitches a little bit, goes down to 70, back up to 95, and then we're sitting at 108, and then 79, and then 99, and 113, 105. It's, yeah, it's as stable as your average person's bank account after payday. Yeah, anyways, sliding around like an ass. You'll see no real difference. Go straight back into here. Let me change the graphics back, and I'm going to change this upscaling to a different thing. So I'm going to go straight off, put it off, and then let's try this quickly, and you'll see the difference is absolutely, astonishingly nothing. Maybe 10 FPS, maybe 8 FPS more. Huge difference? No. And I'll show you why. Leave the firing range again quickly. Hop on back onto the graphics. I'm going to change the upscaling this time to AMD FSR 3, which has been recommended everywhere I go on the internet. Load up into this. Firing range again. And wow, look at that. I'm really pumping it. Oh, woohoo, 114 FPS. I couldn't be happier. Yeah. Anyways, back there. So you can even try it on the NVIDIA, which is apparently the most recommended image scaling, sharpening, upscaling thing, whatever the hell this crap is anymore. Again, back into the fire range, and woohoo, 109, 110. Do you see the difference? Yeah, right? Do you see any difference? Yeah. Anyways, so just go straight back to the graphics again quickly. I'm just going to go ahead and turn this off there quickly. Then we're going to go down, and these are the current settings I am running. The VRAM scale target's 80, shading's on, texture resolutions is high, got depth of field is on. Some people say turn this off because it also helps with the VRAM and helps with a lot of other things. Yeah, sure, okay, cool, let's turn this off. This is going to make a world of difference. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, firing range, what do we got? Yeah. How about that, eh, guys? A whole 0 frames extra. Yeah. That aside, my enthusiasm is taking over now. So next thing, depth of field, I'll put back on. Go scroll down quickly. You'll see that a lot of these things are set on high, detail quality high, bullet impacts are on, the effects is on super, the shading quality is on high, the texture on demand streaming is on. You know, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, have you tried turning it down in order to improve the graphics? Yes, and it's actually made things worse. If I do not run these things on high, no word of lie, I am sitting with only 90 FPS. The higher the settings are here for me on my AMD, the better off the game is running, and the cleaner it looks and the smoother it runs. The shadow quality is on ultra. You see the screen share, space share is high, both near or far, you name it. We go straight. It's my frustration's building slightly here. Everything is set to high and ultra simply because the card won't allow me to set it lower, because the moment I set it lower, my FPS drops even worse. Field of view, you know, I've turned off world motion blur and weapon blur. I don't know who has that on. I don't even know why that's an option in games nowadays. Like, do me a favor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly jump into a match, if we're lucky to find one, with those current settings, and I'll show you right now what it looks like when loading in. Thanks for the servers there, Activision. Top left hand corner, 134, 135, 140. And now this is just a loading screen. It's moving. Should crack about 150. Oh, 29 FPS. That was a dip. 92, 146, 145. Now that's sort of the kind of thing I was expecting when I'm going to play the game, given that I went from a 1660 to a 7700 XT. You know, now it's sitting at 120, 121, which still, it's not great, but it's not bad. It really isn't. I could well play that. So we'll just load into a quick game here. This is just the preload lobby, and now watch the FPS. 92, 97, 113. My 1660 from 2021 was sitting at 100 and something. 6 gig card. Yes, it was an OC edition, but really? It was 99, 94, 98. Okay, maybe it's just the preload lobby, so let's get into a game. Game's loading up. 123, 124 in the plane. Happy days. Let's jump out the plane. 115, 112, and 103, 99, 107, 97. Stuttering. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you. The only thing I can do is say that those current settings that I've currently provided are the best for working for me, and I'm pretty certain if you go ahead and set your ADM card, if you are running an AMD card, to those settings, I think you're going to have a much better experience in Warzone. I really do think it will work for you. My issue might be something else. It might be related to the PC motherboard, like I said, CPU, could be related to software, could be anything. I haven't figured my issue out, but honestly, these AMD settings plus these Warzone settings should give you a lot better FPS as well as a lot better performance. So I hope that was insightful to you guys, and yeah, sorry for the venting, but my frustration levels are at another whole different peak of level. So anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video and you do want a updated version of the video for settings for that suits your AMD card, then please hit the like, subscribe buttons, drop us a comment or two. If you've got some suggestions for me, please drop multiple comments. I'm well open to the advice, and yeah, I'll definitely catch you guys in the next one.